This is Don Mancini, and you're watching Season 0.
Season 0!
You found him.
Chucky's my friend till the end. Hey, wanna play?
Hi, welcome to Season 0. We're here with the creator of Chucky. You've actually written every single movie.
I have.
Well, that's really incredible, considering Friday the 13th, there was a different production team per movie. Same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street, directors would switch up. I don't think I've heard of a horror franchise that had as much control as you've had over Chucky. That's quite amazing.
Yeah, I feel really fortunate in that regard, actually, that, you know, because everyone's replaceable in Hollywood. So I'm really grateful that our producer, David Kirshner, who I've worked with on all the movies and Universal Pictures, that they continue to put, you know, confidence in me to let me do it. Yeah, but it's a great feeling because I feel like I've, you know, created a little pond for myself to operate in and grow as a filmmaker, and I've, you know, had the opportunity to do, I think, over the course of the 6 movies, very different kinds of movies, and it's ranged across, you know, different genres. So yeah, it's been a nice ride.
A good guy! I knew it! I'm Chucky.
He's something, isn't he?
And that's kind of come full circle to the first Child's Play movie with the ambiguity of you're not sure who's killing. Well, we know as the audience, we know it's Chucky, but, you know, they don't.
Right. Yeah, Chucky in this movie is the proverbial Hitchcockian ticking time bomb, you know, in his suspense at its simplest, where you have 2 people having a conversation, and that may, on the surface, could be utterly banal, but then you show the audience something that the characters don't see, a time bomb ticking under the table, and you think, oh my God, don't talk about baseball, there's a bomb there. Yeah. Chucky is our ticking bomb. You know, we know that, you know, this is the killer hiding in plain sight. And that was one of the fun things about doing this movie. And, you know, in the original Child's Play too, it's, you know, creating situations where the simple image of a static doll in and of itself is contributes to suspense. There's something about that where there's a face that's immobile and impassive, that it's just, we have a primal response to that. It just seems wrong.
I think I'm gonna call you Glenn.
What kind of name is that for a girl? Don't listen to him, honey. From now on, your name is Glinda.
Glenn and Glenda, like, that kind of is a tribute to Ed Wood, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tribute to Ed Wood, obviously, but also a tribute to Tim Burton. And, you know, Tim Burton's movie of
our
Ed Wood.
favorite movie of Tim Burton ever is Ed Wood. It's fantastic.
Mine are Ed Wood and Sweeney Todd. I love both of them. But yeah, Ed Wood is a phenomenal movie, and the character of Glenn was deliberately designed to look like a Tim Burton character. You know, he has, you know, he has that kind of, you know, the long face with the pointy chin and the big eyes. So, you know, he's kind of, you know, ghastly yet sweet and innocent.
It looks like the kid fell off the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. I mean, you gotta feel bad for the parents. I wonder what they must look like.
One of the things I was looking forward to most about this movie was doing a proper horror movie and using the camera, you know, in elaborate ways to, you know, create suspense and visual storytelling.
I think it's even worse when you don't see Chucky walk. That's you get really used to it in the other movies, but the worst part of the first one is just knowing, and the close-ups of the face. That's what made Chucky.
Absolutely, and that's, you know, we tried to do that a lot in this movie.
When some of our viewers heard that we were going to speak to you, and we were saying, well, what would you like us to ask him? The most common question we got was, how on earth did you think of Chucky?
Well, it was the mid-'80s, and I was in college at film school at UCLA. And as a kid, my dad worked in advertising and marketing. So the original impetus for Child's Play was that I wanted to write a dark satire about how marketing affected children. So it's a really cynical weird world. I mean, advertising, they refer to children as consumer trainees.
And this was 10 years before the Tickle Me Elmo.
Yeah. So that was going on in my head, and this being the 80s, Cabbage Patch Dolls were really popular. As a horror fan, you know, I had loved, you know, various things like Talking Tina, Twilight Zone episode.
My name is Talking Tina, and I love you very much.
Will you shut that thing off? Hello?
My name is Talking Tina, and I'm going to kill you.
And the Karen Black, Dan Curtis trilogy of terror.
There's a golden chain wrapped around it to keep the spirit from making the doll come to life.
You know, a sequence where the doll is chasing her around. So, you know, all of this was in my mind, you know, and came together to create Chucky.
Okay, was there any childhood toys you had when you were a kid that scared the crap out of you in order to influence these type of things?
Not my toys, but I grew up with 4 sisters, and they all had dolls. And so one of my earliest memories is of like going into my sister's bedroom where she had a bunch of dolls on like a table, and taking a flashlight and hiding it amongst the dolls, but turning it on so that the beam, you know, went up.
The light
like
source,
that,
yeah.
which is just always a creepy thing, which we used in, you know, the new movie. It's really creepy. So I did that as a child to my sisters. So maybe that, you know, unconsciously was an inspiration.
Speaking of sisters, I'm glad you brought this up. You see, the thing is, I have a sister that's about 5 years older than me. So every time I was a kid, you know, she always knew more than I was. She was taller than me. For a good 3 years, she was taller than me. Basically, no matter what she had on me, though, she was absolutely terrified of Chucky. There was a big cardboard cutout of Child's Play 2 with the sad clown coming out of Jack in the Box with the scissors. She wouldn't even go in movie land if that was there. So naturally, after learning about this phobia, I embraced the character. I bought all the movies I could. My mom asked me not to buy the doll. And so anyway, yeah.
So your enthusiasm for Chucky was all just like really a means to scare the shit out of your sister.
Well, yeah, but it was also it also was a good reason to watch some good movies. But at the same time, I like to personally thank you for giving me that leverage over her.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, so it's just you were doing to your sister what I did to mine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a doll. What's the worst that can happen, huh?